was important for two reasons. It had oil and it had a 1,000-mile border with the Soviet Union, now Russia. The CIA wanted access to the border so they could spy on the Soviets and they could put their missiles there. The British, who were deeply involved in this intelligence coup in Iran, we wanted access to Iranian oil. So between us, we quite deliberately and viciously overthrew the Prime Minister, Mr. Mossadegh.
بله من خودم بودم اتفاقا اون موقع من بچه بودم خوشحال بودیم از اینکه ما یه تو دهنی زدیم به انگلیسیا بله این اصلا خاطره است برای ما یعنی من اگر خاطره نداشته باشم از مبارزات بچه‌ها خودمون اون زمان که مثلا جوانتر بودیم خب دیگه نمیشه ما باید این چیزا رو که داریم انتقال بدیم به اونا که
Following a lengthy courtroom dispute, the Nissho Maru finally appeared before the eyes of those watching from the shores of Tokyo Bay for the first time in 47 days, loaded with 22,000 kiloliters of Iranian oil. Oil-producing countries in the Middle East sought to review the monopolies on oil rights held by the major international oil companies, the so-called oil majors. Iran subsequently seized an oil facility owned by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company and announced the nationalization of its oil industry. This incident ruptured relations between Britain and Iran and prompted all major oil companies to cease their trade in Iranian oil. In response, seeking new buyers for its oil around the world, Iran proposed a deal with Idemitsu. To Idemitsu, this marked a rare chance to acquire oil directly from an oil-producing country in the Middle East, bypassing the major oil companies. Nevertheless, Sazo Idemitsu did not accept this offer at once. However, as he considered Iran's circumstances, he began to feel Iran in fact was in the right, having endured years of exploitation by the major oil companies. The International Court of Justice had ruled that Iran's actions were lawful, and the U.S. had accepted the actions. After considering these factors and other information, including information obtained through Idemitsu's own channels, Sazo made the decision to import oil from Iran. On March 23, 1953, the Nissho Maru left port in Japan. Only the captain and the chief engineer knew the true destination, Iran. Had the news been leaked that the vessel was in fact headed to Iran, the vessel risked seizure by the British Navy. One week after leaving port, it passed through the Strait of Malacca, steering past a British Navy base. Sazo, who had carefully tracked the progress of the vessel and the movements of the British from Idemitsu headquarters, issued final instructions to proceed with the plan. 10 days after the Nissho Maru had left port, as it sailed in the Indian Ocean, headquarters issued a coded telegram bearing the following message: "Proceed to Abadan." On learning their true destination, the ship's crew were galvanized by the significance of the mission. Greeted by cheering crowds, the Nissho Maru appeared in the port of Abadan on April 10th. While Iran had concluded contracts with a number of companies, none had actually sent tankers for fear of British reprisals. Prime Minister Mossadegh expressed heartfelt gratitude for the boldness of the decision. Japan's resolution to buy oil from Iran is an expression of the sense of justice of the Japanese people, he said. Japan is Iran's savior. When the Nissho Maru left Abadan on its return voyage, loaded with oil, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, which claimed title to the oil, lodged a protest with the Japanese government and initiated legal action. On May 9, 1953, as Sazo went to the Tokyo District Court to deliver oral arguments, the Nissho Maru returned to the port of Kawasaki. After issuing confident statements based on convictions, Sazo went directly to the port of Kawasaki, where he welcomed home the Nissho Maru's captain and crew, the personnel responsible for handling this crucial task.
今私裁判のところ聞いてきたんですが、大体我々の主張の正しいことはもう素人でも分かりますね。それが今まで我々がやってきたことは間違いなかったということが言えるでしょうね。別に今後どういうそれはもう相手の出方ですけどもね、我々は不行天地に始めということだけはこの際来ると思いますね。それは絶対真が悪い。あります。それはいいそうです。いいようですね。今のもやじゃ。それは国際的な問題ですからね。私たちも卑屈なことなんかやらずにね、堂々と日本人として行動するということを裁判所に誓ってきたんです。これはあくまでも私の態度はこの態度でいかなきゃならない。これは一日の仕事でありませんから。日本国家としてやるべきもので国民のやるべきことであるから国民としての態度を失わないということが私の最も苦心しているところなんです。
The court proceedings were covered extensively in newspapers and other media, attracting attention throughout Japan. In the end, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company withdrew its case and Idemitsu's claims were upheld. This incident marked the first direct transaction between a Middle Eastern oil-producing country and Japan. Idemitsu's resolute behavior, his constancy in purpose and refusal to yield to British pressure, lifted the spirits of many Japanese crushed by defeat following the war. The bold transaction also deepened friendly relations between the two countries.
イギリス会社の妨害行為にも恐れず、堂々たる行為に出た勇気と決断とを将来の日本経済界への光明として重視する。